In August 20, 27-year-old Megan Cordy and her mom Jennifer Klimetz went to the wedding of a family companions in Sweet Potato Slope District, Oregon. What ought to have been a tomfoolery night of moving and festivity would end in everything except while returning that late evening something happened to Megan. Just 3 individuals know the genuine truth about what unfurled. One of them is as of now not alive to tell the story. Different cases. Megan absolutely escaped the vehicle and evaporated, and the third was only 3 years of age, sitting in her vehicle seat when she saw her mom for the last time, too youthful to ever be ready to express out loud whatever truly happened. The instance of how Megan Cordy wound up at the lower part of a bank along the edge of a Dayton street is one loaded up with irregularities and serious disappointment. This is her story. Megan Cordy was brought into the world in December 1990 to guardians Jennifer Klimetz and Anton Cordy. She was the more established sister to one more youthful sibling, Jacob. Not much has been aware of Megan's young life or childhood. Her dad, who went by Tony, was the previous Clackamas fire skipper. What's more, she lived in Oregon. Megan invited a delightful young lady into the world in 2015. Naming her Gia was Megan's whole world. There was nothing she wouldn't accomplish for herself, and the pair were very close. Megan's auntie Tracy depicted her niece as the kind of individual who wanted to make others grin. She didn't go over the top with life and would joyfully act senseless in the event that she realized it would encourage somebody. One of the main things individuals would see about Megan was her splendid grin. As banality as it might sound, she truly did illuminate a room. On August 18, Megan, her mom Jennifer, and her 3-year-old girl Gia went to a family companion's wedding at Heiser Ranch. As an occasion setting and pumpkin fix, it is situated in a country region, tranquil and untainted, apparently the ideal spot to commend a couple's adoration with those nearest to them. The day preceding, Megan and her mother had gotten into a contention about which of them would be the one to drive out to the wedding scene, a region they were curious about. Jennifer maintained that Megan should accept her own vehicle so she could take her girl back. In the event that Gia got worn out and didn't complete Jennifer's night of celebrating, in the end Jennifer was the person who drove them there. Whether both of the ladies had a liquor issue is obscure, yet with the situation that developed before very long, it's obvious to say that liquor positively assumed a critical part. The couple had a lovely service followed by a vivacious gathering. The beverages were streaming and everybody was living it up. Everybody, it appeared, aside from Megan and Jennifer, both of whom had been drinking. Visitors saw the pair getting into a contention about something. It was warmed and Jennifer was purportedly recognizably inebriated at the time. A few saw her influencing and said she was between a 6 to 8 on a size of 1 to 10 of tipsiness. Unquestionably not somebody you would need in the driver's seat. Gia began to get drained at around 10 p.m. She was just 3 years of age at that point, and it's not difficult to see the reason why Megan would have no desire to be at a gathering with a crotchety little child who can't rest as a result of the music and new climate. Jennifer was not dazzled and needed to remain at the party longer. She supposedly told Megan that precisely the thing she said planned to happen happened, referring to her leaving early due to Gia. When they left, Jennifer was driving and Megan was in the front seat. Gia was tied into her vehicle seat in the back. The contention gone on in the vehicle, and subsequent to driving a brief distance, Jennifer halted and Megan got out. Her cell pinged in this area, which is the way the specialists realize this happened. They continued contending before Jennifer persuaded Megan to get once more into the vehicle. This time she was sitting with Gia in the secondary lounge. While out and about, Megan made a phone call to her beau. He could hear the contention actually happening between the pair behind the scenes. It was red hot and there was shouting. A few reports recommend May told her sweetheart that Jennifer was tanked. Once that call finished, Megan's sweetheart could at no point ever address her or see her alive in the future. The accompanying rendition of Occasions is everything that Jennifer said to the experts in the days after this feared vehicle ride. Jennifer says Megan, irate due to their battling, requested she stop the vehicle so she could get out. Jennifer did exactly that and Megan got out, leaving her telephone and shoes in the vehicle. Jennifer yelled out the driver's side window for Megan, however, said when she turned the vehicle around to search for Megan she was no place to be Scene. She then went through the following 30 minutes driving all over this segment of street searching for Megan prior to choosing to return home, expressing that she needed to get Gia back home. Jennifer said she thought Megan either returned a lift with somebody or made it once again to the wedding setting. Jennifer returned home that evening, got into bed and nodded off, all while not knowing whether her little girl had made it home securely. She hadn't. Greetings, is this a number I require a non-crisis? This is the dispatch. Focus non-crisis. I'm sorry, my little girl has been missing since the previous evening and I'm getting sort of stressed in light of the fact that she should work shortly and I haven't heard a single thing from her. We were at a wedding and she was set and escaped the vehicle and I haven't heard from her since and I haven't had the option to find her. I cruised all over for 2 hours earlier today searching for where she escaped the vehicle and so I couldn't say whether I ought to call 911 or on the other hand assuming I need to stand by a specific measure of time. The following morning on August 19, Jennifer awakens and tracks down that Megan isn't back. She chooses to check whether she can report her missing, however doesn't do as such by calling 911. Rather, Jennifer dials the non-crisis line. In the call she states she went through 2 hours that early daytime searching for Megan yet has been not able to find her. No, there will never be a sure measure of time that you need to stand by. Okay, would you like to report her as absent? Definitely, I suspect as much. Where was she missing her? I checked the emergency clinics and I really look at the prisons and she's not in that frame of mind of those. So the wedding was at Heiser Ranch in Dayton, Oregon. This call has been tremendously bantered. From Jennifer's words to her manner of speaking, she appears to be quiet all through the discussion, yet individuals do deal with pressure any other way anyway. The notice of calling the correctional facilities and medical clinics appears to be bizarre, assuming Jennifer felt that her little girl might have been captured or harmed gravely to the point of being in the clinic. Definitely there would be a more prominent need to get a move on here. Besides, when you've precluded those choices, stresses will not die down. If anything, they would increment. Now Maya could be harmed someplace without an approach to calling for help, or more terrible yet, she might have gotten into the vehicle with some unacceptable individual. And what is your name? I am Jennifer Klimetz. And what is her name? Megan May Ghan Cordy Cordie. You understand what she was wearing? She was wearing, and I need to say it was botanical pantsuit. It was one piece short sleeve naval force blue with blossoms on it, and she doesn't have her telephone. She didn't have her telephone. She left it in my vehicle. She didn't have her wallet. Everything was in my vehicle. Okay, we'll feel free to have somebody reach out to you. Okay, thank you, my pleasure. The specialists got the report and viewed Megan's unexpected vanishing exceptionally in a serious way. She had evidently escaped a vehicle around evening time on a dim dark street in a rustic region that she was curious about. That appeared as though a catastrophe waiting to happen. An allure was put out for volunteers to support the quest for Megan, and her face was being impacted all around the neighborhood. Volunteers and crisis laborers accumulated to look through the forest waterways and farmlands where Megan was most recently seen. There was not a hint of Megan any place along this course to place the region into point of view. On the day Megan vanished, she had jumped into a store that a family companion works at not a long way from the wedding scene. Megan Spencer commended Megan's outfit, a blue flower jumpsuit, and Megan answered thank you, and she came in and she was in like a botanical jean suit, and I recalled that since we truly do have weddings down here, yet it's not excessively normal to see a lot of individuals spruced up, so I said, gracious, that is truly lovely. She said thank you. Megan Spencer was stunned to catch wind of the vanishing, yet not at the way that somebody could disappear in this space. Well, assuming she was shoeless, and it's 10:30 p.m. 10 p.m. around evening time, it's completely dark down, there's no street lamps, no nothing. She commented, well, she was shoeless and it's 10 p.m. it's totally dark down there, there's no street lamps. No nothing. Toward the finish of the main day, Megan's loved ones were crushed to hear that there was no news. She was all the while missing, and there's no time to waste given the peculiar conditions encompassing Megan's vanishing and the way that the specialists knew who the last individual she was seen with was. It's not astonishing that they needed to talk further with Jennifer Klimetz. However, first they needed to look through her vehicle. They found Megan's wireless and shoes in the front seat where Megan had first been sitting when she left the wedding setting, and keeping in mind that the way that Megan had left her telephone was disturbing, there was something undeniably more worrying inside the vehicle. A cluster of light hair in the front seat. The roots were as yet joined, showing they had been taken out not Trimmed now. It appeared to be the contention that Jennifer referenced was definitely more serious than she had let on. The accompanying clasp shows a portion of Jennifer's scrutinizing which was finished while she was connected to a falsehood locator test. The specialists realize that these outcomes can't be utilized in court, yet they can assist with guiding them toward reality. We were in the vehicle, okay, and afterward we got warmed in the vehicle, okay, and did it at any point get actual in the vehicle? She pulled my hair, okay. How a long way from the setting were you, or was it currently at the scene? No. It was just before she escaped the vehicle we currently began driving, and she was shouting at music me, and she just yanked my head back and I rammed on the brakes, and afterward I hollered at her, what are you doing? Gia is in the vehicle, and I arrived at back and hit her arm. I'm certain I was to hit her arm, attempting and make her let go my hair. As referenced toward the beginning of this case, just 3 individuals understood what happened that day. We don't know beyond all doubt what parts of this story Jennifer is talking about are valid or not, yet it is clear she is laying all of the fault here on Megan. Individuals get into contentions constantly, and keeping in mind that getting physical is never the response, Jennifer is by all accounts pardoning her a player in the contention while making maybe Megan went off the deep end before Gia. From every one of the sources accessible, Megan was a superb mother to her girl, and her acting fierce before her for no great explanation appears to be unusual. I likewise need to bring up the long delay between Jennifer's last proclamation there. This is an exemplary instance of filling the quietness. Jennifer is awkward in spite of attempting to seem to be cool as a cucumber. If she was describing current realities as they occurred and she was certain about her memory or variant of occasions, Jennifer could never have stopped for 12 long seconds to add that she hit Megan's arm away, and when she at last let go of my hair I began dialing the vehicle back, which is the point at which she began opening the entryway and saying, I will get out. Gracious, first she had called her beau. You hit her in the arm? How frequently? Gracious, I don't realize I just arrived at back until she let go of my hair. Okay, are you certain that you were hitting her arm? No, you're simply hitting something. I was arriving at back, and okay, I mean needed to bend her arm, cause she would have been like this sewing it wrong. Alright, no doubt, except for she called her sweetheart first and believed him should come get her what's, and that was before she pulled my hair. He goes by Brendan, she calls him Burr, his epithet Br. Jennifer lets the examiner know that Megan called her sweetheart and requested that he come and get her, yet she doesn't specify why or when this happened. Given the wedding visitors who said Jennifer was essentially inebriated, was Megan stressed over how her mom was driving? Assuming she was the reason, would she leave her little girl in the vehicle with her reviling to and fro at each other and truly getting monstrous like that? I mean, me goodness, definitely better believe it, no doubt. Okay, I mean she called him. You realize I maintain that you should come get me. I believe that you should come get me, and he probably said no, and afterward whose telephone she call him with? Hers. Alright, and afterward and this is the point at which she pulls your hair not excessively lengthy. After that, better believe it. What predicated that? Who realizes I have no thought? Were you all busy shouting at each other? She pulls your hair. Definitely, I'm certain. Okay, Jennifer's reaction, no doubt, I'm certain, shows her memory of the occasions that evening isn't clear, and this will be a result of her degree of inebriation. Assuming she was level-headed and the pair had been in a contention, a purported out oft blue carry-on like seizing your hair would have stood out to the point of recollecting what hinted at it. Okay, no doubt. So then, at that point, you realize after he wouldn't come get her and she pulls my hair, you utilizing a disparaging terms towards each other. Is that would that? No, I don't call Megan names. No doubt. Does she call out to you? Goodness, obviously, I mean not obviously, but rather yes, she truly does dislike. How could Jennifer need to paint Megan out to be the troublemaker in this present circumstance? Her guaranteeing that she doesn't call me names, and afterward a second after the fact answering that Megan obviously calls her slanderous names, is unusual way of behaving for a mother whose little girl is as yet missing. She has proactively conceded they were in a contention, yet keeps on putting the yet again fault onto her missing girl. This conduct conceivably wouldn't stand a part of Harley in the event that Jennifer's overall disposition wasn't so lively. Her girl is missing, attempting to inspire her to relinquish my hair. She at last relinquishes my hair. Highs begins streaming the vehicle down. She's like, I will get out, and I'm similar to you're not getting out the vehicle, you're not escaping the vehicle, and I was nearly to a stop, and she gracious, she began opening the entryway, which is The reason dialing back and I was nearly been stop and she just opened it music and leaped out, so then I halted the vehicle and got out and stroll around it, shut her entryway that she had leaped out of, and I was searching for her. I was unable to see her any place. I'm calling out to her and she's not noting me. I can't leave the vehicle cause Gia is in it, so I'm simply calling out to her, get back in the vehicle, and I can't see her any place, so I got back in the vehicle and turned it around cause I figured with the course she leaped out she'd head a contrary way, so I got back in the vehicle and turned around and attempted to find her with the headlights. I had the windows rolled down and I'm simply calling out to her, calling out to her, calling out to her. She's simply not noting and I was unable to see anything. How quick do you assume you were going when she leaped out? Goodness, I mean like in a real sense I was practically off. Okay, like under 5 miles hour, better believe it. Okay, definitely, cause when she began saying she planned to kick out and off meddling with the entryway handle, I began grinding to a halt and you were unable to see her. Did you hear anything when she hopped? You didn't hear a noof or any such thing? No. Then you returned to the vehicle, pivoted headed back towards the ranch. Okay, what's the kid doing? I don't be aware. In the event that wasn't clear, Jennifer was asked what Gia was doing. After a long delay she delicately answers, I don't have a clue. About another extended respite follows and afterward the expression crying I would envision, so I drove to and fro, I don't know, presumably for about 30 minutes. Attempting to find her, I called Brett yet again some point, however he didn't answer his telephone, and afterward Jay was crying. Good gracious, I can't really accept that she was there for that. Goodness, my golly, Jennifer is all showing worry for what Gia saw and not for the way that Megan is missing. Is this typical for Megan to go crazy like this? Not really, as of late. I mean, once upon a time when I previously got separated and got remarried, it was a kid saying simply leave her regarding their mom is fringe conceivable. When you add that equivalent kid was clearly crying minutes sooner at the showdown she had recently seen as her mom abandoned her in the secondary lounge of the vehicle. It's out and out unimaginable. Did you attempt and call her? Attempt and call Megan? No, I didn't. Why not? I don't realize it didn't actually seem obvious me to attempt to call her. Okay, I was more stressed over Gia and getting Gia home. By then Megan wasn't my center, G was, so I just drove home and I took her higher up and put her a bed. Had Megan done this sort of stuff in the past? What sort of stuff? Leap out of your vehicle? She'd never really made it happen. However, better believe it, she's taken steps to before approve any seriously drinking or anything that evening for defin muscle relaxers, anything. No. Alright, no, I was so drained as of now, I was depleted. I didn't take my cosmetics off or anything, I never do that. I didn't take my contacts out. Okay, I just got in bed with Dia cause she was sleeping and I just slithered in with her and snuggled her. Okay, did that unexpected you that Megan was acting the manner in which she was acting before her girl, better believe it, and that she wouldn't stop. Okay, most certainly shocked me. I mean, she hasn't done any such thing before. No, and typically in text use she prefers. She's a furious textor and moment irate surface. What sort of stuff sets her off? Me, anything I do. You realize she had done it to me half a month prior when I swung by to get Gia while she was working. I met her at her work and got her, and where accomplished she work a Blue Mercury at Bridgeport. What is that? It's a corrective store with the tasteful administrations. Okay, she's an esthetician. You swing by to get goodness. I got and asked her what time she would have been finished with work and she said 5:30, and I said gracious, I thought you realize you had let me know 5 preceding, and she resembled better believe it, I thought it was 5 and it was 5:30, and I only sort of feigned exacerbation since she does that a ton, like simply doesn't have a clue about her timetable. And she resembles what I'm similar to. Well, I don't see how you never realize your timetable. Like you're 27 years of age. How would you not know whether you get off at 5 or 5:30? When I awakened at around 5:30 on Sunday cause the sun was emerging, and I got up and I got dressed and snatched Gia and went out to search for Megan. You in vehicle first? No, I had her telephone. She had left her telephone in the vehicle. When did you sort that out? When I removed Gia from the secondary lounge, I saw it on the floor. Following 4 days of concentrated looking through, the specialists had to cancel the pursuit. A huge measure of labor had gone into searching for Megan, however, with still no sign of her in an extensive range around where Jennifer said she got out the vehicle. They expected to downsize. Obviously they would keep on dealing with Megan's case as a functioning examination. At this point a decent amount of doubt had fallen on Jennifer among the specialists. The story she let them know wasn't checking out, and when her falsehood locator test results returned as uncertain, it further concerned them that she wasn't letting them know every bit of relevant information. However, they would before long have a significant improvement. On August 23, the following day, the quest for Megan was cancelled. A gathering of joggers were partaking in an energetic excursion along the peaceful Dayton streets when one of them saw something down a lofty dike. It was Megan Cordy. Finishing to the quest for a missing lady from Sweet Potato Slope District. Joggers staggered on a body close to Dayton, accepted to be that of Megan Sy. Megan's body was found down a precarious rough bank. Why hadn't the searchers had the option to find her on the grounds that Megan was found 9 miles from where Jennifer said she escaped the vehicle? This disclosure carried a shocking finish to a disastrous case. A local area stops to recollect Megan Sy in front of a late spring custom in Midtown Dayton. Megan's body was gathered from the scene and moved to the clinical inspector's office for an examination. The outcomes would show she had experienced critical wounds. Megan's reason for death was managed to be gruff for fork injury to the head. She had experienced aortic partition, which would have caused a moment demise for the following 30 days or so. There was next to zero data from the specialists in regards to Megan's case. That was until they held a question and answer session on September 27 to give a report working on it. During this question and answer session, head prosecutor Brad Berry defined the occasions paving the way to Megan's demise and talked about the post-mortem examination's discoveries. He informed the press that the clinical inspector felt that Megan's wounds were not predictable with being hit by a vehicle and the absence of harm to her. Uncovered feet showed she had not strolled any distance. It was likewise uncovered that Jennifer Connell her subsequent polygraph test, and from that point on quit helping out the specialists. Maybe the main snippet of data to emerge from the question and answer session was the accompanying Brad Berry uncovered the clinical inspector accepts Megan left the vehicle when it was going at a speed more prominent than 5 miles per hour. How quick do you assume you were going when she leaped out? Gracious, I mean, like in a real sense. I was practically off okay anyway because of the passing being managed unintentional. The head prosecutor said there would be no lawbreaker accusations brought for her passing the specialists, and the lead prosecutor accepted that Jennifer was driving off course in the wake of missing a turn when Megan fell or bounced out of the vehicle. She then, at that point, hit the ground prior to moving down the precarious dike. Amazingly, there was mune of Jennifer possibly having sped up standing before Megan left the vehicle, something that could have come from Gia. Jennifer Klimetz was accused of driving impaired and wild peril. She went to preliminary in October, and since Jennifer hadn't taken a breathalyzer test that evening, the examiners would need to depend exclusively on the observer proof from the people who saw her at the wedding. She wound up taking a request arrangement to drive tipsy, emerging unscathed. Connecting with the passing of her girl, the investigator and lead prosecutor were open in their dissatisfaction in regards to the absence of charges connecting with Megan's demise. They freely expressed that Jennifer had deceived the police. She burned through 5 days in prison and was placed on 3 years of probation. Shutting Gia currently resides with her dad in Salem, Oregon, and Jennifer isn't permitted to have any contact with her. The most recent update for the situation came when Megan's dad sued Jennifer for $500,000 for carelessness causing Megan's passing while at the same time driving impaired. He likewise sued the wedding setting for nearly $1 million for overserving liquor and neglecting to keep Jennifer from driving while tanked. An appointed authority excused this after he neglected to answer a movement by the Protection in Truth